them, but a lot of great people coming back, and it's safe to say that a quarterback will win the Heisman in 2014 as well. So now we're going to take our first commercial break, and then stick with us and feel free to call into our number right now.
You're listening to the national sports station on Spreaker.com, the proud home of St. John Bosco football. Go Braves!
So now we're back on the Blake and Noah show. Not really sure what happened during our commercials. We're sorry about that. I tried to get it to work there. It was not playing the music which we wanted to play. Not sure about that one. Hey, but we're back on. We're going to be talking about some Winter Olympics. I have an expert coming on the show in a second. His name is Will Graves, and he is dying to talk about the Winter Olympics in Sochi. And right now I'm going to be calling him, and we're going to hear all about the Winter Olympics. He's our analysis guy on all those sports, which we're not really that up to date or current on, but he's going to tell us all about the big news. Obviously, Lindsey Vonn out with an injury, but Will, he's going to be coming on in 1 second. Hey, Will, we're on the Blake and Noah show right now. Can you tell us all that we should be listening and waiting for the Winter Olympics in Sochi?
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, awesome. Well, obviously the big news is Lindsey Vonn not being able to compete, but what did you take away from that story, and how do you think it's going to affect the U.S.'s chances of getting gold medals?
Well, the U.S. does not have one of the strongest free skiing teams, sadly enough, in the alpine event. On the other hand, which is Lindsey Vonn was mainly the team. On the other hand, the U.S. is going to dominate in the brand new free skiing events that are brand new to this 2014 Winter Olympics.
Yeah, well, that's good to look forward to. And who are some upcoming athletes or stars that we should be looking forward to make big impacts for any of the sports in the Winter Olympics?
Well, we're only two in the skiing. They've had 3 of the 5 qualification contests for the U.S. team, and in the snowboarding, they've had 2 of the 5. But in the skiing, David Wise has won 2 of the 3 events and has already clinched his spot to go to the Olympics. And he's a heavy favorite going. He's an American. And this is in the ski super pipe event, which is a half pipe with skiers, as the title sounds. And other heavy favorites in this event include Kevin Roland of France. He's a past X Games winner. And if Simon Dumont of America can make the team, he's also he's won a few X Games in the past.
Yeah, well, looking forward to it definitely there, Will. As well as the fact that right now it's coming up so soon, but what are some of the biggest events we should look forward to, and some things that are going to get people up on their seats, up off their couch when they're watching and cheering for their favorite countries?
Well, I would say, as the last few years have shown, that the U.S. snowboarding superpipe men's team will always amaze, because Sean White currently hasn't clinched his spot yet because he's focusing on getting the spot for slopestyle as well, but still makes the team. There's no worries about that. He's the easy favorite to win his first gold in a row in that event.
Yeah.
And I think one of the most dominant performances we're going to have in all of the Winter Olympics is going to be in the new ski slopestyle event with American Nick Gepper, who's been almost undefeated this whole season. He's looks to just be better than anybody else in the world currently.
Mm-hmm. And then, Will, what do you expect in the hockey part of it? Obviously, last year, or not last year, but 4 years ago was Canada taking out the U.S. in a very exciting final. What do you expect from the American team and also the Canadian team, the heavy favorites again?
I think they are the favorites again. The Russians haven't been up to the par of late, and I think the most NHL players both come from America and Canada, so I think they will dominate the Olympics again. And I'm not sure who to pick between the two.
Yeah, good point there. Noah has an announcement to make. What are you trying to say, Noah?
Okay, well, really quickly, I was going to say this at the beginning, but I forgot. I will be doing the NHL coverage with Carl Mogwine for the Olympics when it starts. So just wanted to let everybody know it's going to be really fun.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to that as well. Will, lastly, just to end this, obviously we have the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi. What do you expect for snow? Like, is the weather going to permit all these games to be able to be played in the right setting?
I would hope so. I believe that they have had decent enough snow this year. Actually, from what my research has just said, the snow is not going to be that great. Some weather reports that the current conditions in Sochi are not looking very good. Recently, it was a 63-degree Fahrenheit day in Sochi, which is pretty warm.
Yeah.
So, similar to the Vancouver games, we might have to have a lot of fake snow brought in.
Yeah, that'd be unfortunate on that part because you're wishing that these games can be as legit and as real snow can permit it to be. Unlike the Summer Olympics, you want snow to be present at those games. Will, any last comments or things you'd like to say about the 2014 Winter Games in Sochi?
I would just say go out, watch a lot of events because the Winter Olympics has many different events that we aren't used to seeing. There's lots of different team events. I would say as a fan and now this year NBC is covering almost every single day of the Olympics, so I would just try to watch as much as possible because everything's being live streamed or on one of the big networks, so go support America or whatever country you want to support because it's going to be fun.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming on and talking about the Winter Olympics. So exciting to listen to you and listen to all the games that are going to be going on in that games. So, Will, thank you so much. Feel free to call in anytime and share your opinions or analysis. Thank you. Okay, well, that was Will Graves calling into our show today, doing a great job talking about some sports which we don't usually talk about on the Blake and Noah show. But now we're going to dive into the biggest sport of all. That's the NFL. And Noah, can you tell me the score of the Broncos-Chargers game, which is getting played right now?
Well, you know what? I'm impressed by San Diego once again, but they are down 7-0, and Broncos are threatening right now. No Sean Moreno just ran for 5 yards to the San Diego 8 for a first down, so they have a first and goal coming. This comes after a fumble by Denver led to an opportunity for San Diego, but Nick Novak was unable to hit a 53-yard field goal. The touchdown play was on a 2-yard pass from Peyton Manning to, of course, none other than Demaryius Thomas. So, the Broncos on top right now. We'll keep you updated on that, and they have a shot to score once again to extend the lead.
Yeah, and now we're going to discuss some of the current games that are going on right now. Other than that, or current games that have gotten played. Sorry about that. Obviously, Robert was talking about the 49ers and the Panthers earlier today, and that was a very exciting game, but an upset in Carolina, 23-10. The 49ers win that game and reach that NFC title game for the third consecutive season. Very impressive by Colin Kaepernick and Frank Gore leading that team to victory. Also, the defense just shut down Cam Newton. Noah, what did you take away from the game today?
Well, first of all, though the Panthers were the higher seed, I think everybody should expect 49ers to win. I'm sorry, for those who picked Carolina, Jake, Carl. I mean, not Jake. Yes, Jake. Okay. That was... I had a brain fart there. But yes, Jake and Carl. Look, in order to win a playoff game, you have to lose nowadays. You can't just come in and start winning. Since when is that a factor? That's never happened. Look at the quarterbacks that have made it to the Super Bowl. The Niners, I know Kaepernick played the year before, but the Niners as a whole lost in the NFC Championship game. The Ravens kept losing. They had made it to 6 years in a row. They had made the playoffs, and they couldn't win. They couldn't get into the Super Bowl, and they finally did. You have to know how to lose to win. The Panthers are a new team. Cam Newton is a new quarterback, and I expect him to be back next year. I applaud myself for the pick. They would be a great team, but really, the Panthers win this game? Honestly, if you thought that was going to happen, you haven't paid attention to the NFL in the past couple of years. Even Andrew Luck, even Russell Wilson, and even Andrew Luck, who actually ended up making it to this round, couldn't get by a quarterback with experience. You have to know how to lose. You have to have lost. You have to have experience. And unfortunately for these Panthers, they do not. I'm impressed with the Niners, and I think they can knock off the Seahawks if they play their best. difficult, yes, but the Niners do have a lot of talent, and we have already seen what they can do. They almost won a Super Bowl last year, ended up losing by 3 to the Ravens, but 3 years in a row in the conference championships, and I just can't stress this enough. The Niners are now they're going to be a perennial championship contender, and they are one of the best teams in football.
Yeah, just to defend the Carolina Panthers, which you're kind of hating on right now, Noah. Yes, I did pick the 49ers to get the victory due to experience, but yes, this Carolina team, you have to credit them a lot. 12-4 coming out of nowhere, coming out of the cellar, you could say, to win the NFC South over New Orleans, over Atlanta, who is very highly touted and very, a lot of people picked them to win the Super Bowl. They finished 4-12, people. But also, this Carolina team did defeat the 49ers earlier this season in Candlestick Park 10-9. You got to give them credit for that. There are only 4 losses this season. In the regular season were all to legit teams other than their loss at Buffalo in Week 2. They lost to the Seahawks only by 5 points at home in Week 1. They lost to New Orleans 31-13 in New Orleans. And their other loss was versus Arizona, who had an outstanding season. They also beat the Patriots. They beat New Orleans to win the NFC South, obviously. And they've also had some other good victories versus mediocre teams. But they finished the season only losing one game out of their last, I believe, 8. What was it? They finished 7-1 to end the season, or 8-1? What was it?
Since week 6, they've only lost one game, so that is 10-1.
10-1. Wow. So very, very impressive. And yes, this is a team to look out for.
11-1 actually, even.
11-1. So this is a very impressive team to look out for in 2014. They could be a Super Bowl favorite next season just because they're so young. Okay. Obviously, they might lose Steve Smith due to age, but you had to give them some credit. Obviously, at home versus the 49ers, they had a chance of getting a victory. Yeah. But just giving my credit to Cam Newton as well, who is going to be an MVP candidate for the next few seasons after the performance.
I agree, Blake. I mean, once again, I thought they were going to be a good team, despite everybody. I think you agreed with me as well. You and me actually did a pretty good job of calling surprises. We called Jameis, and we called the Panthers, so I think we are pretty solid on the calling of games factor. And if I did come off as I was giving them a lot of hate, I do think they're a great team. But as you said, experience plays a factor, and I do agree that they will be a better team next year because, of course, now that Cam has the experience, I think that he can get the win. But it's become so prevalent in these playoffs that you need experience, and the Panthers just didn't have it.
Yeah, I agree with you there, and you could also say the same for Denver right now, who is now leading 14-0 over San Diego. They got their butts kicked last year at home versus the eventual Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens, but I think that is going to help them this year in the postseason and motivate them, even though they finished 13-3 again this season. Consecutive years, very impressive, number 1 seed, but that is the extra motivation that they needed to maybe make them a Super Bowl team, which I predicted them to win the Super Bowl. Still got a shot there with that one. Just to add on to that point, with the team needs a loss in the playoffs to get motivated to make a Super Bowl run. Other games that were played yesterday, obviously we had New England coming and just putting a thump on the Indiana Colts, 43-22. I expected the Colts to pull off the upset in that one. I was so off on that game. Didn't get to watch much of it, unfortunately, but Noah, tell me about that game and what you took away from it.
Well, what I took away from it is actually experience. Andrew Luck has played 2 games, but they've both been at home. He never played away from home against a Patriots team that has made 3 conference championships in a row. And you know what this taught me? Never doubt Tom Brady. Never doubt this team. No matter their injuries. No matter what players, no matter if they're missing Gronk. No matter if they're missing Aaron Hernandez. No matter if they end up missing Vereen for a lot of the year, Ridley for some of the year. No matter how much they struggle, somebody will step up. Some players, Amendola, Edelman will step up. I can't even pronounce his name. Humanawamwanui. That's a really long name.
Yeah,
and really hard to pronounce.
That, Noah. I'll give you credit for that.
Like Garrett Blunt. Look, this Patriots team is for real. I doubted them the whole year too. I agree with you. But when it comes to the playoffs, Tom Brady is the best playoff quarterback, debatably, in history. Joe Montana, I would put up probably ahead of him. But this is a team that lost to Cincinnati, which is a great team. They lost to Carolina, which is a great team as well. They did lose to Miami, and they did lose as well to New York. But those games are on the road. At home, they're just phenomenal. They won't be playing at home, but they did beat a couple of great teams on the road. They beat Denver, obviously at home in overtime. And you know what? I have confidence in this Patriots team. And just because of my doubt of Peyton Manning, because I've never had confidence in him in the playoffs, poor record in the playoffs,